So we've got a legitimate Teven Jenkins update per Peggy Kaczynski. Let's get into it and break it down and try and figure out what the heck happened here, starting now. Now, if you are new to the channel, please like the video, please subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago Bears daily on this channel. It's the only channel talking Chicago Bears, how Chicago talk. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. So per Peggy Kaczynski, she literally just tweeted this out. Well, by the time you see this, it'll be later, but 6 minutes ago, my time, right? NFL source confirms that Chicago Bears are actively trying to trade Teven Jenkins, who fell out of favor early with the new staff. Contrary to head coach Eberflus saying Jenkins' absence was 100% injury related, Jenkins is at the facility working with the trainers, but missed his 6th straight practice. And I talked about this, right? Like we have to be realistic about what Teven Jenkins' situation is here, right? Like if Teven Jenkins was just injured and was just working with trainers, you would still see him. I went to training camp last season. Teven Jenkins was working with trainers. He was standing on the sidelines though. He was watching his team, especially in offensive drills. There were guys explaining things to him, how things were going to go. I watched it. I saw it. So it was weird to me that he wasn't here at Bears training camp this season. I don't know what happened with Teven Jenkins that all of a sudden he fell out of favor with the Bears' new training staff, but this is major, right? Because this is your 2nd pick from last season. I understand, right, that they have Braxton Jones as their guy that they want starting now, and he's kind of taken over that starting spot, and they feel confident about him, and they kind of like him more in that position with this scheme. That's all fine, right? But you're telling me Teven Jenkins has absolutely no use on this team? I don't know if it was an attitude thing. I don't know if it's a maturity thing. If it's a maturity thing, I think that it's to me, right, it's a mind-boggling thing that we're gonna waste whether he was your pick or not, a 2nd-round pick from last season because you don't feel he's mature enough. Can he play? I know a lot of guys that are immature that are great players. Can he play? And it seems like the Bears do feel like he has talent. It seems like the guys around the NFL feel like Teven Jenkins has talent because they're also making calls on Teven Jenkins to the Bears, and now that the calls have been put in, the Bears are actively trying to trade him. I just feel like this offensive line doesn't have enough talent on it yet for us to just be shipping pieces out of here because of maturity issues. If it's based on injury, that's a completely different thing, which it could be, and it's still being said that this is injury issue, but I'm starting to feel like it's just a lot of coach speak. Now, before I continue with the video, I do want to know how you guys feel, man. Let me know in the comments below. Do you feel like the Bears should trade Teven Jenkins? Drop Y for yes, drop N for no. I've got an entire video for training camp that's coming out after this now. So I'm talking about Teven and that has basically no bearing on any of this anymore. So it is what it is. But yeah, keep a lookout for that. Here's the thing at the end of the day, right? The Bears are going to make they're going to find a way to make this trade, and somebody's probably going to talk turkey with him, right? Like, I'm not surprised by it. He's a young left tackle in the NFL that excuse me, that you feel has a lot of promise, and that you feel is talented, that a lot of people feel is talented. I think that it's going to be interesting to see what the Bears are able to get back for him. I don't think that you'll get something as high as a 2nd because of the injury issues. You might be talking about a 5th, maybe even a 6th-round pick. You're not going to get anywhere near the value that you felt he was when he came into this thing. It's sad to see him going at this point, right? But I mean, listen, I guess even if you could turn him into maybe an expiring contract on a player or something, I'd be okay with that. But I mean, at this point, right, if you feel that he's not meshing enough with this front office and with this organization, with this offensive line coach Doug Kramer, with Coach Flus, that you're fine moving on with him before we've even seen him in pads, that means that you feel that there's something wrong that you don't want the rest of the world to see. That's the thing that's what it tells me, right? There's something that you feel is not going to be fixed inside of him that you don't want the rest of the world to see. And so you believe that the player is not worth as much as the potential. And a lot of times, right, you'll get more for the potential. I think in this situation, right, the Bears should will try to get as much as they can. I don't think you're going to get higher than a 5th for Teven Jenkins because of how little we've seen him around the NFL, but he is a left tackle. And guess what? There are teams that might look at him and say, listen, I'm willing to take a chance on Teven Jenkins, and I'm willing to give you a 5th-round pick, maybe a 4th-round pick if you can finesse it, if Ryan Poles can finesse it. But I'm willing to give you that just because if he turns into something, he's well worth more than that pick is. I doubt you'll get anything as high as a 4th. I'm talking 5th, late 5th, maybe early 6th round range for Teven Jenkins. I think that's about the limit of what the Bears will get out of this thing. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. Do you like that the Bears are moving on from Teven Jenkins? He's been an injury prone guy since he's been here. He's had 4 separate injuries essentially since he's been here. 2 back surgeries, back surgery right before we drafted him that he was recovering from, another back surgery when he got here, an ankle injury I believe he had at some point last season, some concussion issues, and then of course right this season the minor tweaks. So let me know in the comments below how you guys feel on that. I mean, some teams that you might be able to trade him to, there's definitely some out there. The Seahawks are definitely still always looking for offensive line help. That would be an interesting one to be in talks with. I think the Falcons is always a name that has to be on the board because Ryan Pace is basically saying send me all of my guys that I believed in. So the Falcons is one that you definitely could talk to, some guys that need some offensive line help there. And I think those are the teams you kind of want to be talking to, knowing what's coming this season, knowing that the Seahawks are probably going to be pretty mediocre, knowing that the Falcons are probably going to be pretty bad, honestly, right? You want to try and get as high pick as you can for this guy, and those are the teams that are going to be in positions to get you that higher pick. So let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. What teams would you like to see him traded to? If you're in favor of the trade, I'll be down there talking with you as well. As always, man, it's your boy Pat the Designer, back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, man, and continue watching our Chicago Bears content. Click the links on the screen or check the links in the description below. Peace.